again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Orange Weekly.
Favorite time of the week, but not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews and your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. Good morning, Broncos country, and welcome to another edition of the Tailgate Talk here at Orange Weekly. My name is Kev Dan, and we may even be getting a visitor from Jared later on today. So sorry we're starting late. However, we kind of know where the Broncos have been this year, and so it's it's not always fun to talk about. But hey, post your comments, post your questions, and let's see what you guys have to say about the Broncos heading into this game today. They are on the road against Carolina, and look, you know, this is just not a good football team, at least offensively. And there's just so many questions and so many injuries of everything that's been going on. The one thing that I think we're all going to be continuing to looking at is, will Kubiak calling plays continue to improve the offense? Now, again, I know we talked about this last week. The score really didn't reflect the improvements we saw in how the offense was run. There was more, Russell Wilson rolling out of the pocket. There was, more completions. And it just didn't result in scores, which resulted in Coach Hackett at the end of the game saying, we just need to score more points. It's as simple as that. And to which we all replied, clearly it's not as simple as that, because if it was, you would have figured it out weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks ago. There's nothing simple about the problems we have with the Broncos right now. However, against a struggling Carolina defense or just team in general, this is an opportunity for our offense to go out there and really see what this offense can do after another week of reflection, improving communication between the coaches and the offense. And really with Kubiak calling the plays, we'll see what happens there, but we'll see. Anyway, everyone who's hopping in, hit that like button. Again, post your comments and we'll see what you have to say. Red Cloud, how you doing? It's always good to see you, one of the OGs here at Orange Weekly. Oakland Beast at home, though, has lost faith for 22. Yeah, look, it's kind of where we're at right now. It's another one of those seasons, and just a lot of questions, right? What is this team going to look like next year? What coaching staff are we going to have? And I think it all really revolves around, where does the ownership step in at this point? And I think that's where we're all going to be looking at. We don't know how the ownership is going to react, and what they're going to do to try to correct this. That's the unknown factor here, guys. So waiting to see how what they do is going to be huge. D-Rock, how you doing? Watching us on YouTube. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We do need this win. I think more for, and I can't remember who posted it earlier this week, but Broncos are at the stage of the season where we're just looking for moral victories. Just those little wins that we can carry on into the off season. And today's one of those. Ryan, who's ready for another loss? You want coach gone, you need to lose. Don't necessarily want the coach to leave. I don't want Hackett to get fired. And we do have somebody wait in the green room here. He might make an appearance when he's ready. I don't know. It's going to be pretty cool. He is looking good, guys. You're going to be excited for this. I don't want Hackett to leave, because then we have another year of another new head coach and bringing in another system and players learning, new language and all this stuff. And we don't know what the whole coaching staff is going to look like. Obviously, we want to keep our defensive coordinator, but very rare does a new head coach come in and keep, coordinators from the previous head coaching staff, the previous coaching staff. And so there's a lot of things there. We have so much turnover in the Broncos locker room year after year after year between quarterbacks and head coaches. It's and offensive coordinators. It's ridiculous. I think really that fundamentally that's one of the big problems for this team is they have not had continuity at all since Peyton Manning. And in fact, one of the biggest continuities the Broncos have had since Peyton Manning has been Orange Weekly. We've been very consistent for you guys, and Jared is here too to help prove that. How you doing, bud?
What's going on, man? How you feeling about this game today? How you feeling on this Broncos Sunday?
I'm just glad there's still football on TV, and more specifically,
I'll take that
football. And whatever happens at this point happens, man.
Yeah, no, I'll take that. And you had to witness the travesty of that Oakland game. Sorry, the Las Vegas game. You had to witness that live, person. So I do feel bad. I'm sorry.
And
man.
The Colts game and all the other home games.
Yeah. Have we won at home yet?
Yeah, we have.
Of our 3 games, are they? I can't remember. I don't know.
We've lost more at home than won, but yeah.
Yeah. Have we started talking about this game, this Carolina game? I know I came in a little late, and I'm sorry, but
no, not.
I think the biggest news for this Carolina game as we get into it, we could talk about on Tuesday. We'll talk all about the coaching, what's going to happen with the coaches, what we think, and all that stuff. So go ahead and tune in on Tuesday. But for this Tailgate Talk, let's talk about this Carolina game.
Yep.
Interesting piece here is that they are benching Baker Mayfield after not scoring a touchdown last week. And being 3-7 for Sam Darnold, which I think is interesting. They lost their coach. They lost. Now they benched their quarterback. Interested to see. Obviously, Sam Darnold is a starter. He has been a starter in this league before, so he's not new to the game. It's not like they just put in whoever they could. It's not like they're putting in Rippin, right? Yeah. But it's interesting to see that a 3-7 team who's in kind of the same boat as the Broncos, decent defense, just cannot score to save their lives. Benching their starting quarterback to try to change some stuff up, and I don't know if there were some issues with Baker as far as his attitude or whatnot, but yeah, and so I don't know. I'm leading into that, Andrew, and I'm saying this because we are paying Russ so much more money than they're paying Baker. And I think that's part of the reason why we're just trying to let Russ go and eventually catch on. Is this the game that he throws for more than a touchdown? And of his, I think he's got 3 touchdowns on the season, and one of them is a shovel pass. For that doesn't count. So I'm interested to see at what point, or I mean, obviously we have to let Russ ride, right? We got to roll with Russ for as long as we have him for, because we paid for him. But at what point in this season are we kind of like, man, this was a mistake? Because the Panthers have done it. The Panthers did it. The Panthers said this was getting Baker Mayfield was a mistake. We're benching him.
Yeah, and I think the ceiling and what we've seen from Russell Wilson over the past 10 years before he came to Denver shows fully what he's capable of versus Baker, who kind of hit his ceiling in Cleveland there. Yeah. We knew that was pretty much the best he was going to do the previous, couple of years. They made the playoffs and stuff like that, and they looked decent. And all of a sudden, the Browns went from the laughing stock of the NFL to making the playoffs. After that, he never really got any better, and things got really weird over there in Cleveland, and they traded him. So I think it's easier to say, hey, we made a mistake because you saw what he was able to do. You bring him over. You're not paying him that much more. I think Cleveland is still, eating some of his contract or something like that, I believe. And then you're able to say, okay, guys, we made a mistake. We tried it. We thought he was going to be able to come, really lead our offense, and he didn't. I think with Russell Wilson, this is something that is still way too early to say we made a mistake on.
Yeah.
There's so many injuries. There's so many things going on in the front office, the new ownership, so many things going on that it's too soon. Now, look, in 2 or 3 years, if we are still I want to say 3 years, in 2 years, if we're still in the same boat and Russ has not improved at all, he 100% the biggest mistake in at least Broncos franchise history. If not in the top 3.
And I think that's the most frustrating part. So normally around this time with a record like this, the Denver Bronco fan base is screaming to just let it loose. Mm-hmm. Send in whoever, don't care, we'll get a top 5 pick. But guess what? We got a terrible team and no top 5 pick. We got a first round for the Bradley Chubb trade, which is good, but that all depends on how the 49ers do this year. But here's the thing. So Sam Darnold, I'm trying to read up on the Sam Darnold situation, which is interesting. So it looks like the coach is trying to say that after Sam Darnold's high ankle sprain, he was put on the IR till week 10. He was taken off to back him up last week and expected him. He wanted him to come back to be the starter. He wanted Baker Mayfield to be the backup. So he has full faith that Sam Darnold is their starting quarterback, who has thrown 9 touchdowns and 13 interceptions in his career with the Panthers last year. I think we get a couple picks. I think our defense actually wins us a game. Now, Granted, our defense has been doing amazing all year. Couple, missed plays. I think that Raider game was a big kind of like found a little bit of a hole in our defense, which is unfortunate. But we haven't had that year. For example, Super Bowl 50 year. I think there was like 4 or 5 games where the defense literally won. And the one that I remember is the Kansas City game where they were trying to run out the clock. Our defense gets the fumble and brings it in for a touchdown. There's been a couple of games that our defense just won the game for us. And I think this is what's going to happen today. I still don't have any faith that this offense is going to be able to get it done.
No. You look at the Broncos in active stay, guys. KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, 2 big names there on the offense. So really looking to Hinton and Cortland Sutton, I think, are my top 2. I still want to see what some of the other younger guys are able to do. But I think this is going to be another big day for Cortland Sutton, especially. And I think there's a lot of trust being built between Russell Wilson and Hinton. And I absolutely love Hinton. I would love to see him, just keep improving and keep making big plays and stuff. But yeah, there's just there's no faith that this offense is going to get going at all this year. But Steve here, if we could score 24 points a game, we'd be 9-1 right now. So that we don't even need 24 points a game. We need 19 points or 18 points in regulation. 19 points in regulation, I think it is, to be 9-1. If you said 19 points, in total of the game, we'd be 8-2 with both losses against the Raiders, which makes me want to, but yeah, dude, it's just, what the injuries and everything definitely have a huge impact on the offense, especially when you're looking at the offensive line, which is completely piecemeal together. I mean, we were talking, I think at the halftime hash a couple weeks ago, or was it, I can't remember, but we're like, okay, well, we're like down to our last backup lineman. And what do we do if that guy if we lose one more? Do we start?
And the worst part, we did lose that guy.
There? Yeah,
we were down to at one point. We had no more linemen and if one more got hurt, we would be done. We had one as a backup, and one went down during that game. I think we're back a little bit healthier. We got at least 2 to 3 backups now for this game. But man, yeah, you're right. The injury front is rough. Sorry, I was just looking at the lines here for Kendall Hinton. You were talking about Kendall Hinton and wanting him to go 35.5 yards for Kendall Hinton. If you're a bet man, I think I'd take the over on that.
And he definitely got that last week by a lot.
I think defenses are queuing in on Cortland Sutton and Greg Dulcich because those are his kind of favorites, especially that, it's too funny. It worked for one game, and then you keep seeing him try to come back to that Dulcich over the middle, just like that spot route. Yep. And defenses are queuing in on it. It's not that hard to read what Russell Wilson's going to do post-snap, which is, could be an offensive coordinator situation, could be a Russell Wilson's read situation. But, yeah, you're watching the game and you're almost watching it like, I know exactly what you're going to do, dude. And I think smart defenses are going to know that too. So, he's still firing in some good balls. I think Cortland Sutton's going to have a good day today. I think Kendall Hinton. I really think Kendall Hinton's going to have a good day today because people are going to be focused on Sutton and Dulcich in the backfield. But also, let's see. We cut Melvin Gordon. I know you guys talked about that on the Tuesday show. And I think Latavius Murray is our only running back right now, right?
Yep.
Or is he?
Which, if you look at the depth chart in general, he would have been like the third or fourth string running back, to start our season, had he been with the Broncos to start the season.
Oh, if we started the season with the people we have now.
The fact we are now starting with a fourth string running back also tells you just kind of where we are with everything, right? And just really quickly, so Hinton did have 57 yards last week. He did have that long 32-yard completion, which was almost a touchdown, but still 57. He was the number 2 wide receiver with reception yards, and then Dulcich had 30. Four receptions for 5 targets. So yeah, I think Carolina defense is definitely going to be tagging up and focusing on those 2 guys, Dulcich and Sutton, which should hopefully leave some of these other guys opportunities to make something happen. So
yeah,
and then Mack as well. Yeah, so,
Marlon Mack is the backup. Yeah. So we'll see how much time he gets in the backfield there. Yeah, I mean, you look at this defense. This Carolina defense looks good. I'm expecting another slugfest. I'm expecting another slow game. I don't know. Like they don't really have any big pass rushers. Like when we played the Raiders, it looked like we're making them all look like all pros out there, and it was super disappointing. But Derek Brown on the defensive line, he's a 2020 first-round draft pick for the Panthers. I think he's going to be a problem for us. Him versus Miners is going to be an interesting matchup to watch. And then they have good linebackers. They have good linebackers that flow with the ball. We are getting there. Our linebackers are flowing with the ball too. We have a good defense, but I just don't see us outsmarting their defense. They kind of a very similar kind of play style to us. So I'm interested to see what we come out with. I'd love to see us come out and score in an opening drive. I'd love to see us score in the third quarter. I want to see these things that we've been missing all season. Yeah. And it's hard to talk about it because we know that even with a win here, what does that get us other than screw you, Seattle? You're not getting a top 5 pick.
That and I think at this point, obviously not against Carolina, but if we can, beat some of these other teams and maybe win 1, maybe 2 games that we just definitely aren't supposed to win, you're going to ruin possibly somebody's season or definitely, move them down in terms of where they are in the playoffs, make it harder for them. So we're just at the point, like, let's just go ruin some people, let's go ruin their playoff chances or just, make things happen. So yeah. And definitely the fact that, if we keep losing, it's just going to help Seattle out even more. And they're already making playoffs, which is just, I mean, who would have put money on this year to say, yes, Seattle's going to make the playoffs and the Broncos won't? Like, who would have put money on that? It's whoever did is probably, if somebody did, holy
big
crap.
Seattle fan, that's for sure.
Right. Exactly. So, but yeah, guys, I would not be surprised if we do come out looking strong like we did last week against the Raiders, and maybe even week before or another time this season we go out, we get up by 10 points. Maybe it was the Jets game. We get up by 10 points or something like that. And then we blow it. And then all of a sudden we just stop. 3 and out. The whole second half last week was just 3 and outs and punts and not doing anything. So it's rough, Victor right here. Will we score 20? Man, I don't even know why that's a question. Like that's a valid question, but I don't, it sucks.
Steve put this up here, and I want to say this stat is actually worse than that. I think it's like 18 points in regulation because we had a couple overtime games. If we would have scored 18 points in regulation, we'd be like 8-2 or 9-1.
9-1. Yep.
What? 18 points in regulation.
And that's we would still be like the bottom offense in the league, if not maybe the 31st or something.
Steve and Victor, you're right. We're over here begging for 20. Like, please score more than 1 touchdown. Please
score. 2 touchdowns and 2 field goals. That's 4 drives out of what you get 8 or 9 drives in a game, maybe 10 if you're lucky.
Oh, you get way more than that. Yeah.
Well, still
probably like 12
scoring
to 13
drives. Yeah. Fine, 4 scoring drives, 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, out of all the drives you have in the game,
Right.
you're talking about scoring about 30% of your drives, and you would be 9-1.
Yep.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer.
That's the thing. And so I definitely want to get some score predictions and start talking about matchups and stuff.
Yeah, let's do it.
But really quickly, to carry on this conversation of what are we going to do for head coaches? What is this going to look like for coaches, at the end of the season and stuff like that? We're definitely going to have those conversations more on the Monday night show, Orange Weekly After Dark, Tuesday night, Bourbon Broncos No BS. I'll pull this up for you guys here, so you have all of the list of the shows that we have for you guys. We'll definitely be diving deeper into those conversations and looking beyond just what's happening in this game. So please come on over and join us Monday night, Tuesday night, and check out the podcasts as well. Okay, Jared. So we talked about some of the players, at least for the Broncos, that are, we're looking at. But what are some of the matchups you're looking for?
Well, so I talked about on the defensive side. I want to see how our offensive line does against this defensive line. They got Brian Burns also on the outside. They got a couple big time first-round draft picks on that defensive line. I'm interested to see how our, like you said, piecemealed offensive line can do against that and the pass rush. Also, our quick game. Make sure that we can get that quick game off. The second thing I want to look for is on our defensive side. I want to see Pat Surtain kind of have a little bit of a bounce back game. Now, it wasn't Pat Surtain's fault, and you can watch all that. He ended up following the crosser, and there was a guy sitting there in the zone. It was a half man, half zone situation.
Right.
I'm not going to say that last play was all his fault, but he did have a little bit of a rough game against the Raiders. It wasn't his normal big time game.
Really quickly, especially after Devontae, I know we're going backwards, but after Devontae Adams started kind of rolling in that first half, why do we not come out in the second half and just say, hey, Pat, you are going to be lined up against Devontae Adams, no matter what the rest of the defense is doing, zone or whatever, you are against Adams, and you're going to, we're looking to you to shut him down. It looks like they didn't do it. And are they going to apply that at all to this week at all?
No, and here's why. That's not Evro's defense. Evro's not a follow defense. What he does is he knows that Pat Surtain's a shutdown corner, so they'll do exactly what they did against the Raiders, which didn't work out very well, which is the half man, half zone concept, which is why when you have a deep crosser like that, it's dangerous. And then not only are you going to have a deep crosser like that, if they would have had a crosser coming the other way, that guy probably was open too because Pat Surtain followed. So what they do is they take their number one guy and they play, hey, you got whoever you're on that side, and then we'll play like a half zone the other 3/4 of the field, and then that way it kind of shortens the field for them. It gives them only so much that they have to cover, especially if they're only having to cover 3 receivers as opposed to 4. That's the Evero defense, and it's been working so far, and it sucks that the one person that found out how to kind of beat that with Devontae Adams is Josh McDaniels, but I missed Tuesday's show, so I'm not going to get into that, but that was probably the thing that hurt the most, is that the one team so far to figure out how to beat this Evero defense at both games was Josh McDaniels.
Yeah. Hey guys, like it says up there, start pushing your score predictions. David, I don't recognize your name, so if you're a first time to the show, thank you for joining. Welcome. Glad you're here. And to everyone else who's here, you guys are all fantastic. A lot of repeat names. We love having you guys. You're all, again, it doesn't matter what the Broncos are doing. And I just sincerely mean this, guys. We are going to keep doing this, not because we're making money. It's a fun hobby for us, but at the end of the day, we do this for you guys and because we want to talk with you guys and do this. So please keep coming back, even when the Broncos suck and maybe you're just like, I don't want to talk about it. We're going to try and make it as fun as as we possibly can. And we can all, commiserate together and just be miserable together. So please come on down. David, thank you for joining the show. And for the score predictions, I did have Steve's up here as well. Just so you know, the rules here at Orange Weekly. If if your score prediction is correct with the Broncos winning, we will send you some awesome Broncos swag and some Orange Weekly swag as well. So, look, Red Cloud, you want to post 29 Carolina. It's very possible today. But if the score is 29 Carolina, he's not going to win. So it's a good example. But Steve here, all field goals, very likely. Broncos 16, Panthers 14. I love it. Here's a good one, Riker. And again, I don't, Will Riker, dude, I love it. Haven't seen your name here before again, and welcome to the show. Broncos 48-0. Dude, if that happens, like my head would explode. I don't even know. One can hope, right? It's possible.
I mean, look, and this kind of leads me into what my score prediction is going to be. Guys, keep posting those score predictions, but I do think the Broncos are going to win. But at what, right? Like, what's our, like, what is it going to? If we do win 48-0, and all of a sudden we turn around and go, man, why couldn't we be doing that all season? Like, how on earth do we just figure this out? Now watch us finish this season, like, and you know, because that's the talk now. The talk's gonna be like, if we can do that and just copy and paste, Control C, Control V, rest of the season, so that we can finish out the season and maybe actually end up with a decent shot. Because honestly, yeah, 3-8 sucks. Losing to the Raiders sucks twice. We still have 3 more conference games. We haven't played the Chiefs yet. We've only played the Chargers once. I think I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'm not pulling out the hibiscus. Right? I'm not pulling out the multiple biscuits. I'm gonna keep my eye on the prize. But if we can come out with a 48-0 win, I'm gonna be a happy dude. The world might come to an end if we score 48 points. Hey, we talk about pigs flying. We might see some pigs flying. But not for nothing. So I just got back from Thanksgiving with the family. You can see the leave beard going. Yeah. I just got back from Thanksgiving with the family, and you got the permanent. You got the DD214 beard going. I just got back from the family, who, as you guys know, some of you guys that have been following us for a while, is big Cowboys fans. And that Cowboys game last week, not the one against the Giants, that was rough, but the Cowboys game against, was it Philly, where they just destroyed them. Like they were, even my brother-in-law was going to that game like, nah, this is just going to be one of those games. We actually about our game. No. It was Dallas, and I want to say it was Philly, because I think Philly's doing really well this. Like, they were only a 1-loss team.
Okay.
Or Minnesota. Yeah, was it Minnesota?
Minnesota. It was Minnesota.
Maybe it was Minnesota. Whoever it was a really good team. And they go in there and they just destroy. Yeah, it was the Vikings. Thanks, Reno. It was they just destroyed them, like absolutely crushed their souls to the point where they couldn't do anything. And then they're already talking. So of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. That sounds about right. That sounds like they've been talking Super Bowl every year. At the beginning of the year they talk Super Bowl. Anyways, but they did a really good job, and they went into that game like my brother-in-law. We put the Raiders game, unfortunately, on the TV while he watched the Cowboys game on his phone, and they did a really good. So maybe we come out, and now we're not huge underdogs here. I think we're actually favored ever since they announced Sam Darnold being the starting quarterback, which is interesting. That's why I want to talk about that. But yeah, we're favored by 1 point at an away, which means they think we're going to win by about a field goal. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'd love to see us come out here and just absolutely score points, and see what Russ actually can do. A combination of Russ and the running back. Yeah, there's just a lot of things at play here. But so, long story short, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say we do score over 21 points, which means we win the game. If we score 21 points, we win the game. It's history. Yeah. 9-1. 9-1 if we score 18 points in regulation, and 21 points overall. So if we score 21 points, I say we score 23 points today. We're still going to get stopped a lot. McManus is going to go on a tear. Start him in your fantasy leagues. And we win 23-16 is what my prediction is going to be.
Okay. I also think we're going to allow 16 points because that's right along our average, 16 or 17. But I think we're going to, my score is closer to 20-16. I just don't think we're going to get that third touchdown. I think a couple field goals is going to be in our, in our game plan today is what's going to happen. And, but I think it's going to rely on the defense kind of shutting down Carolina in the fourth quarter there to allow us to put this thing away. So, and I also am going to say, get ready for this. One of our touchdowns today is going to come in the third quarter.
Oh,
yeah.
Bold move. Yep. Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him.
There we go. Wow. So it's going to be a close game. We're both thinking that. And I think we're going to have a below average third quarter, slightly below average third quarter compared to the league, which is really good for us. That's really good for us. So, yeah.
I'll make the pitch. I don't think our defense has scored yet this year, so I make a pitch that the defense scores a touchdown in this game, and that's what puts us over that 21 points. I think that's what would put us over 21. Pat Surtain gets a big bounce back game, and he gets a pick six.
Yeah, I wonder how many out of the top 10 defenses in the league right now, how many of them have not scored any defensive points off of fumbles or interceptions? I want to say probably we're one of the only ones. I think at some point in the season, all the other defenses maybe have had some sort of pick six or something.
We may have scored a defense. Now I'm fuzzy. I don't know. There was one that got
really
called back.
don't think so.
There was a Bradley Chubb sack that got called back earlier in the season, and they didn't count it.
But I don't think I don't think our defense got in the end zone at all this year.
Here we go, Steve, with the Latavius Murray 2 touchdowns and 100 yards. I like it.
I like it a lot.
I like it. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I do think Latavius Murray fits our run game really well if we can get the run game going. The problem is it's not the run game. It's not the running back's fault the run game's not going well. It's our pieced together offensive line. It's line's fault. High five, Kev.
Yeah. High five. It's all fuzzy.
High five.
High five.
Okay. Well, the game's getting ready to start. Do we have any last minute or what was your score prediction? They're scoring 16. We're scoring what?
20.
26. Okay, so right around the same thing. I said 23-16. You said 20-16. All right, any closing thoughts? Guys, thanks again for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Remember, guys, Halftime Hash will be here live at halftime. So we'll break down everything that we saw in the first half. Join us for that. And if your score prediction is right, send us a screenshot, send us a message with it and say, hey guys, I was right. And we'll send you that stuff. It'll help us out a lot versus having to go back through all the comments and stuff. So appreciate everybody tuning in. You guys are all fantastic. So stay sipping, fam. Hey, we will.
Hey, these morning games, watching from California, these morning games turn me into an alcoholic, but I think that's kind of what I need for the Broncos right now. Just, a little 10 a.m. sippy sit. That's all I need. A little 10 a.m. sippy sit.
Exactly. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Hey guys,
it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Jared, thanks for tuning in or joining us today. Everybody who's been watching and commenting, you guys are fantastic. We will see you here at halftime. Doesn't matter what the Broncos do, we still have the best fans, and you guys are proof of it. So awesome. With that being said, Jared, you're awesome, good sir.
Yeah, I appreciate everything, Kev. Thanks for having me on. Again, thank you everybody for watching. And I think we ended off the way we always do with a very strong
Go Broncos. Take care, everyone. See you soon.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know